Muy bien, seguimos pues con, antes de la pausa y de acabar la sesión matinal, me gustaría invitar a Blanca Cros. Ella es la coordinadora del proyecto Charm, que nos va a explicar en qué consiste, y responsable de proyectos europeos de la Agencia Catalana de Turismo. En esta ocasión también será una intervención corta, breve, de 15 minutos y también por cuestiones de tiempo no creo que tengamos mucha oportunidad de preguntarle más preguntas después, ¿de acuerdo? Será en inglés, por cierto, así que les preparo ya, les aviso por si tienen que seleccionar la interpretación. Muchas gracias, Blanca.
Vale. Buen día, muchas gracias. Buenos días, muchas gracias por tener esta oportunidad de estar aquí. Como les he adelantado, haré la presentación en inglés que me lo puedo sacar, como coordinadora de este proyecto europeo y porque también los partners están ahora mismo online conectados y viendo también esta presentación. So, good morning everybody, thank you for being here today. I will deliver my presentation in English, as I said, as coordinator of the Charm project. As you can see, they have been presenting different projects, European projects, and this is very important to see how destinations are taking advantage of the European funds. In Charm is what we pretend to do so. So in this way, I will introduce you this project. But on behalf of the Charm Consortium, allow me to extend a warm welcome to you and a welcome to the Bridge event. And what is the Charm Bridge event? Just follow me through this presentation and you will find out. Yeah? Sorry. Yeah. First of all, let me introduce to you the Charm project, as I said before. The general objective is to position Europe as an integral destination on quality of excellence for cultural and rural tourism, and making the most creative and cultural industrial technologies to provide an unforgettable experience to visitors. Once the project will be finished, a route of 10 villages will be part of a transnational offer with more than 70 new tourism products and activities. Before to move on, I would like to underline that this project is co-founded by the COSME program of the European Union. For the ones that you are not familiar and you don't know about the COSME, COSME is the EU program for small and medium-sized enterprises. COSME aims to make access to finance for SMEs easier. And as you can see, this project is a length of project duration is 24 months, is a small one. You see before that there was some projects about 4 million. This is about 500,000 euros, and this 2 years is quite short to do all that we've been doing. Anyway, very important. Who is participating in this project? We are 7 partners from 6 different countries, all together a public-private partnership. From Northern Europe, there is, in fact, there are 5 SMEs, 5 small, medium-sized enterprises. 2 of them are companies, technological companies. One is in the Northern Europe, that is Tour Guide Fox from Finland, and Heini Tatu are our colleagues. And from the Southern Europe, there is Software Engineering Italy, that is also a company located in Sicily, where Marco and they are also helping in the project. Then, as DMC's destination management companies from the tourism sector, we have 2. One is located in Portugal, that is Portugal, and Luis is there. And then we have also Turismo Vivencial, that is located here near Barcelona, and Antonio and Gemma are also the collaborators. Then we have International Center of Research, that is NIT, and is located in Germany. And we have also a very important network, that is Nextur. Nextur is the network of European regions for a sustainable and competitive tourism. You know, more than 30 regions are working for tourism are part of Nextur. And finally, the Catalan Tourist Board, we are the coordinators, we are the public authority, and we are coordinating this project. So the partnership And I would say the people behind this partnership are really important for the success of the project. But the 10 selected pilot villages are the core of the whole thing. I would like to give you just an outline of the process. The project has worked for a common vision and criteria in view to have a common framework for the charming villages, also based on previous initiative. The focus is their identity linked to history, linked to gastronomy, linked to culture or natural assets. And this gives to these lovely villages and surroundings what is perceived for the travelers as charming. So let me just briefly introduce the 10 villages. From Finland, we have Mathildedal and Oravi. From Germany, Friedrichstadt and Seifen. From Italy, Borgo Cunziria, that is also in Sicily. From Portugal, Montserrat and Sortela. From Spain, Catalonia, we have Rupit and Taüll. And from Belgium, Bourg-Roland. Therefore, the project is about how to help rural destinations through creative cultural industries technologies. And how? Creating unique products and embedding new technologies in order to enhance the visitor experience. And why to focus in the charm strategy for this? Before the current situation, due to the pandemic, from the tourism sector, we were facing different issues, such as the over-tourism, massification in some destinations like cities or coast resorts, the impact of the tourism in the climate change, pollution coming from transport industry, and the concern about the carbon footprint. So this strategy could help to overcome that. Therefore, this strategy, by the way, was inspired by the marketing plan of the Catalan Tourist Board. One of them, the congestion, the concentration, is to create or help to develop new flows from massive destinations to more unknown destinations under the criteria of sustainability. Deseasonalization, one of our objectives is to help to create new products that will help to generate new tourism flows in low and medium season and augmenting the time spent in the villages. So why? Each pilot village is facing different issues related to visitors. Some of them are some villages that are known, and for example, as Rupit. So most of the people go there just for a one-day trip, when they have a lot of possibilities, a lot of activities that can help to lengthen the stay in the place. Then we find diversification, and I think here is one of the where new technologies can really emphasize that, helping in the commercialization, in the promotion. And finally, the development, double income in the local community, that to generate a positive impact on the local economy through tourism. For that reason, we start to deliver different training sessions on how create charm experiences and products in the knowledge we were collecting. But before to do these trainings, we launched a marketing intelligence study, and based in this marketing intelligence study, we conclude that the charm traveler expects the respect of local culture and natural environment, wants to actively participate in each experience, and wants to meet the place and want to meet the residents. They want to discover for the destination from their own. Then to find different channels of communications to ensure that he has all the information before to reach to the place, and to get used to the latest technological innovations for the decision process and the travel journey itself. So as I said before, the training sessions with villages, that was one of the outcomes also from the project. And as I said in the previous slide, charm travelers want to be in contact with the local community and residents. And this is the soul of charm. So we organize these different trainings in order to encourage, to show how to do this sort of products. Our trainings had three main objectives: to work with local stakeholders, private or public, both of them, to make them aware of the Charm hosting philosophy and to develop sustainable and responsible products and experiences. The trainings were very successful. So once the trainings were done, with the stakeholders, we were working together in order to prepare the different products and experiences. I invite you to visit the webpage of Charm, www.charminvillage.eu. You will find different topics, different themes related to the products. You will find as well different kind of products in a sense that one-day activity, but also more than one-day activity. And I think the most important here in this product is this, that the involvement of the local stakeholders, not only in the process to create the products, but to be part of the product as well. One of the main outcomes of the project has been the guide for promotional practices of destinations, mainly in rural destinations. By the way, it has been done by Digital Tourism Think Tank, that it was before, in the session before, Nick Hall. So, and what we learn, and what we have learned. Community development is the key to putting villages on the map. And how? Focusing on community initiative, building a sustainable community, driving innovation through incubators and labs, learning to use collaborating methods and collaborative tools, and selecting the right technologies and platforms. I also invite you to go to the webpage where you can, in the section News, download the study. You will find plenty of good practices related to the topics that I have mentioned. So, and what have learned from the Charm project based in this guide, that the importance to focus on the local community and sustainable development initiative deeply rooted in tradition and heritage. Stand out with signature experiences and thematic itineraries that can live online, but also create a desire to visit. Create unforgettable and powerful stories linked to the storytelling, and the most important, to involve the local residents as ambassadors of the village. So to return to the original question, why we have organized the Charm Bridge event? Because we need to connect the tourism with CCI technologies, and that is the reason we are here. The technological part of the project consists in the implementation of augmented reality application, virtual reality, and the web page platform. Unfortunately, I cannot show you at all these tools, because due to the pandemic, some of the filming and shooting of the audiovisual that it had to be embedded in these applications are not yet finished. Just I want to say that the Charm augmented reality application is targeted to promote Charm brand and the participating villages. Application use augmented reality technology, which overlays computer-generated image over a real background seen through a mobile device camera. It helps travelers to obtain information and enrich the experience of the location. Regarding the web page, as I said before, I invite you to visit, where you can find promotional information, commercialization of the products, and corporate information about the project. In this platform, you will have all the information regarding the villages, the packages, but also there is a newsletter where you can subscribe, and also you can find all the studies we are realizing, etc. And then finally, the virtual reality application is also in the process, is a work in process at this moment. And what we want and what we foresee with that is to stimulate to the visitors or potential visitors to go through the virtual reality, and then to apply this to go on in the real place, visiting the place, well, so, yeah, the heritage. So, last but not least, I invite you to go on with this session with the Bridge event activities. Do not miss the rest of Charm Bridge events. We'll have the presentation and discussion panel where you are going to meet some of the partners as well of the Charm project, and then this activity of networking that we foresee to put in contact the tourism industry and technology providers. In conclusion, we believe that the new technology must be integrated as a medium, not as a result. So the technology should be used to service projects and people's needs, but not the other way around. Tourism plus new technologies is a win-win situation. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Blanca. Sorry, I don't want you to get off the stage because there's one quick question that I would like you to answer. The people online, they're of course congratulating to you and your team for the work done so that you are helping rural destinations to be promoted internationally. They're asking you, will this project be extended to other rural areas in Catalonia? And if so, how can they participate?
Yeah, the point is now, as I said, and I underlined, these are pilot villages that they are selected 10, 2 from Catalonia. The idea is once the project is finished, that will be March, 14 March 2021, we are in this moment working in a governance plan and sustainable plan in order to see how we are going to go on with the project. It will be open to new rural destinations, to new villages for sure. Just now we are writing and seeing how we are going to develop and how we are going to implement that. So I invite these people, if they can get through the website, the newsletter, they can register in the newsletter, so they will have the information how things develop. But we are going for that for sure. Thank you.
Muy bien, vamos a seguir ya con la última sesión y también va a ser en inglés antes de finalizar esta sesión matinal. Aunque llevemos 20 minutos de retraso, vamos a intentar acabar a tiempo, puntualmente. So we are moving to the next block of this morning session. And since we like to make things complicated, this time we're going to have a different layout. We're going to have the moderator who's going to be on remote, and there's going to be 5 participants, 2 of them who are already with us here on the stage, on the auditorium, who I will call very soon, and 3 more people who will be online. So let me already call Pere Pérez from Vision 360 to come to the stage, as well as Alex Breton from Aftershare.tv. So please take a seat. Thank you. And this moment in time, we're going to have Ulf Sontag. I hope, Ulf, that you are already listening to us. You are going to be presenting and moderating this session. Ulf is the Associate Director of NIT, the Institute for Tourism Research in Northern Europe. And the topic of this roundtable revolves around technologies applied to rural areas, adding value to the tourism product. The length of this session is going to last about 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes. We'll try to stick to that. And Ulf, whenever you are there, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, hello everybody. I hope you can see me, you can see us. I can see 1 person sitting on the stage, but not 2. I think that will change in the near future. And yes, I'm really happy to welcome. Oh no, we need to keep distances. That's for sure. No, very good. Everybody's there. That's great. It's a really big pleasure to moderate this session, and I think it will fit very well to what Blanca just said. And also, I listened a little bit to the program during the day, and especially also to what Nick Hall was saying in the interview. And I think we will have, I think, quite a neat connection with this whole story. we've heard about the title of this session, and what we really want to dig into is how the technologies we have been talking about, how can they help really small destinations, little villages, to develop, market and sell sustainable tourism products. So this is actually what the Charm project is about, and where we want to, with this discussion and with also the discussion and the networking in the whole Forum TurisTIC framework, we want to find out more about this connection to the technology. Because in the end, we want to attract, I'm not sure if it's always more visitors, but it's the right visitors. And with the technical capabilities that are out there, we want to explore these possibilities. We will do it like this. We will have all our panelists telling about their projects, about their products, about their backgrounds for about 10 minutes each. And then we want to do like a short round of discussion. As usual in these kinds of events, no matter if they are online or if they are in the real world, we are a little bit late on time, and usually that means we will have a shorter discussion, which is always a shame, but somehow this seems to be the world, be it COVID or not COVID. And I will just give a very short introduction of our participants, and then it's their turn, because I think you will see also from the lineup that it's quite interesting. We will first have hear from Reinhard Lanner, from the Austrian National Tourist Office in Vienna. Secondly, we will hear from Frank Grafenstein from Neuster Grafenstein in close to Berlin. Not in the, Berlin is now also like a red zone, but I think you're out of it. So you're still in the green Brandenburg. And their background is also very much connected with working with destinations, destination marketing, management, very much digital focused, but not only digital, which I think is also important, that you really see also the connections with the real world. We will then have Heini Niklas Salminen from Finland, also partner of the Charm project, showcasing one of the Charm villages and how they are dealing with technologies to basically become visible on the visitors' mental map. So 3 more or less destination-based examples, or let's say a little bit more closely to the destination side than to the technology side. And then we will have the 2 guys on stage, Pere and Alex, who are more from the technology side, very interesting companies in Catalonia, and also not always working with tourism, which I find very interesting, because I think in tourism we tend sometimes to look only into our own industry without knowing so much about what's going on in the world. And I think they both bring lots of insights and competences also from other industries. So yes, as said, we will hear about all these examples, then we will discuss for as long as there is time, and I'm sure it will be very interesting. So without further ado, I will pass the floor to Reinhard, who will tell about what they do in Austria on the national level with smart technologies.
Yeah, thank you, Ulf. I hope you can hear me. If you give me a sign if it works, great. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for inviting me, and hello from Vienna to all the participants. I would like to talk about the Austrian experience data management. My name, as Ulf said, is Reinhard Lanner. I'm the Chief Digital Officer of the Austrian National Tourism Organization. We are a company which is working all over the world, and the main objective is communication. But the communication won't be enough for the future. Things will change, and so we have to deal with things of innovation as well. And the question we have here is, how can Austria, which is like many other countries, tourism based is of very, very many small and medium-sized enterprises, how can we have competitive advantage in a time of platform economy The big drivers in the digitization, as we know, one is automation. So all the process will change in future. We will have touchless payment, touchless entering rooms, and so on and so on. That's where the future will be. A second thing is machine learning. A second driver, which is a big challenge for us. Why is it a challenge for us? Because we have many data silos. All the companies have their data stuck in their databases. Machine learning needs a huge amount of data that it can come up with a good service. And the third thing after automation and machine learning is Internet of Things. I think that will definitely be a very big driver for the next mainly the communication processes, but in future destinations will also have to digitize the whole process also during the journey, not also before and afterwards. And the third thing and the question is, how about the skills? How about the skills in our companies? How about the skills needed in DMOs? What kind of skills do we need? Do we all have to be technological experts? No, maybe not. But what we have to understand is that digitization is connecting dots, connecting what is separated and in the real world. And that's why we have to come up with a new form of business models. We discussed it with the Austrian industry, with companies, with DMOs, but we also discussed it with experts from technology, mobile companies. And what we learned out of this discussion is we have to work together. We have to create an ecosystem, tourism people, tech experts, and we have to create the future together. So if we think about the industrial century we have behind us for 100 and 150 years, capital, money was one of the big drivers for competitive advantage. If we take now the knowledge-based society, which is digitized, it's not only money, we also need to have access to data, which is competitive advantage for the companies. And here we do have a disadvantage, especially in an SME-driven business, in an SME-driven tourism business. And that's why we started to think about, and now I try to move the chart once further, and I think it works, just to explain what we tried to do. You see on the left corner all the different enterprises we have, the companies, we have restaurants, we have hotels, we have cafes, but we also have companies which provide content to our to our content. So it is from the consumer perspective, he or she does not always want to have the same content. It depends where she is before in the planning stage or already during the holiday stage. How is the weather? So we have to combine the content we have and produce and combine it with context information. We have to come up with a kind of network which is not only tourism data, but as I mentioned before, also data provided by other experts and other companies. The situation we have now is a little bit complex, especially for the visitors, because as we all know, we have to go on many different websites to get the right information. And it's really hard work to get the right information, especially now in times of crisis. We want more information about security, about the travel system in different holiday regions. All these things we have to search on millions and millions of websites. And on the other hand, we have DMOs, but do they really have an overview? Do they know how many ski buses they will need tomorrow or the next day? How many visitors are there? And especially, how can we avoid congestion? At the moment in Austria, it's a kind of lack to have a complete overview for professional destination management. And the solution should be the Austria Experience Data Management. We connect all the data. We have sources from the tourism industry. We have sources from the weather company. We have sources from mobility companies, but we also have sources from experts' blogs. Some young people who are in Austria really passionate about writing a blog about breakfast or whatever. And in a kind of private-public partnership, we came together and give access on a data hub with all the different sources. We define some standards, how to use all this data, and that's the foundation to innovate. We have an innovation process going on 3 times a year, together with different industries in Austria, and we come up with, I don't know if you have heard about Clayton Christensen's method, job to be done. So we think about which job needs to be done by a visitor. And then we define the use case. Then we find some data sources, experts of technology or whatever. And then we come up with a prototype. So the idea is making sprints, prototype sprints, which come up with solutions within 3-4 months, and then test with real visitors. Test the solutions if they really appropriate what consumers want, and so on and so on. And then we iterate and make it better and better and better. So that's the short presentation about our initiative. Thanks for listening to me. I think it's really a wonderful time for innovation at the moment. And I think DMOs should move further from being just an communication agency towards being a management and innovation agency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reinhard. It's a shame you don't hear the people clapping or reacting. You don't see what people are doing in the audience. That's, I think, one of the big shames of this digital format. But at least we see each other, and I liked it a lot. I think we will just move over to Frank, because I think it somehow is connected where you're starting, but becomes more concrete in the what you're doing really on the ground with also quite small destinations. So I would say, Frank, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ulf. Very warm welcome from Brandenburg, indeed, close to Berlin, outside of the red zone, anyhow. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon. I have a very simple message. I hope I can bring it across in 10 minutes, but I think it's essential for destination. So my topic is how structured data put rural areas on the forefront. It sounds a little bit dry as a topic, but it is not. It's really essential. And doing that helps you in, well, reducing marketing costs and will help you in the administration of your destination. So it's really an essential point that definitely directly fits to what Reinhard says. Just let me introduce our company. So we are a digital family, we call us. It's 30 companies that are mostly owned by, still this is the managing directors, they are shareholders. In Germany, we are one of the biggest digital agencies. We work for all kind of branches, but we have, well, a lot of tourist clients as well. So these are at the moment, we are already 31 companies. So for today, we have 2 companies that bring the content. That's Neuster Tourism as an overall company. And below that roof, we have Neuster Destination Solutions and us as Neuster Grafenstein. Well, we are scattered around Europe, not in Spain up to now, but we work on that very hard. And well, clients come from all different sectors, starting from the TUI as a client you definitely all know, and other travel related entities, but also, as Ulf mentioned, we work for a lot of destinations all over the world. And especially from that field, we have a lot of learnings, and we definitely, or we developed an own product to help destinations to be visible online. And I will go to the aspect of data in this project. So the question is, why do you need a database? Everybody has a website, of course, And it's learned that it is somehow necessary to have a website and to contribute content to the website. But no one thinks about that this content should be in a database and should be structured. Why? So that comes to the question, what is data? Data could be structured or unstructured. So if you have a website, of course, you will announce from time to time, I don't know, events like the event Dance Hall Festival is performed on the 30th of April on the Market Square. This sentence could be typically wise on a DMO website. It's not a problem to do it like that, but you can do better in the way that you structure this data, because it has different containers in this message. So you have a title, you have a date, you have a time and a place. And in doing this, into splitting it up into segments, it's more understandable for others that are connected or could be connected with your website. That means you can exchange information, because the unstructured data, the sentence, you cannot really share. So normally it's done like this. There is a local DMO that has an event, and then for sure someone will call another person in the higher level of another destination DMO of the region and say, oh, listen, we have this event. And this one will type the same information in his content management system. So you have already two people working on it. And in a pandemic situation, this event could change. So you have another call to say, no, the event doesn't take place, it's postponed whatsoever. In structuring the data, this data could be transformed or distributed to other websites as well, because it's easy to understand and to interpret it. So why do we need structured data? As already mentioned before, we all work with the model of customer journeys. So there are different touch points to a customer, from inspiration to final booking, and many of them are digital already. And if they are digital, they could be delivered with the same data from one source. At least this is our approach towards distributing information. So our system we invented, so to say, helps you and helps especially small destinations to reduce the administration of managing what's going on at the destination, because there's only one source, and then this structured data could be delivered to many, many different touch points. So what I'm saying is, the website that everybody has is an important touch point, but it's one amongst others, and it's getting less important in the future. It's still important, but it will get less important. So we have basically for the customers still two major touch points. On the one hand side, and that's the biggest, is for sure Google. And the second is your website. But of course, there are many others. So what is with Google? Google, this is an example for Cologne. So there is someone typed in Cologne events, and you get 3 results on the Google screen. And that's the core message. So you have something that we call position 0. That is the information Google delivers as the best available information for this topic. It's above everything else. Then you have the possibility, of course, to place yourself by advertisement. That is in the middle section. And below there comes then organic search results. And for Cologne, you see it's on the first position 0, but also on the SEO level, on the organic search level. So they maintain, via using our system and structuring their data, position 0, and also get more relevance in the SEO section. And even better for the mobile application, we call it position -1, because it's uniquely displayed there. So in regard of position 0, what is currently displayed there? It's information about accommodation, which every destination has. So it makes definitely sense to bring accommodation information into structured data. It applies to points of interest, events, even articles, recipes, books, images, videos, and much more will come. So in fighting for the level position 0, you need to structure your data, because Google is looking for the best data available. And if you deliver it in a structured format, definitely Google will choose this source. Our, so to say, product reflects exactly that, that approach. So as you see on the left-hand side, something where you will type in your data, It's called destination data in a structured manner. The entire headline, so to say, we talk about is maybe open data. So that's a big discussion in Germany, but I think it's everywhere. How can we exchange data from different sources in different formats? And this is exactly open data. So we have a CMS where you deliver your data about your destination, where you are the expert in this. So there's no one else who knows this specific information better than a DMO or the service provider in the destination. And this is delivered into destination meta. That is the big database. And this has interfaces to other providers that goes from Booking, Amadeus, and other booking engines. And the data you give is enriched by other data. So it's not only that you have to deliver all, you have an interface to other data sources. And after that, this can be distributed to all the touch points on the right-hand side. So you have touch points pre-trip, we call it. So it's of course your website, it's mobile applications, but also we can create automatically widgets. So that means this data you create can be displayed via a widget, again, on the service provider in your location. That means the service provider has to be aware or has to spend energy in, I have to suggest something, what the visitor can do around my spot where I have my hotel. Because this is via structured data, only one click with a widget and it's displayed. So easy. And many, many others. One important thing is that it's working with Creative Commons. So if you have images and you know that's only usable for specific usage, you can apply these Creative Commons to this image, and then it's only open for distribution where this Creative Commons apply. It's very important because everybody knows it's always a nightmare if you have images and you don't know how the licenses is with the usage. So this is done by the system finally. Very comprehensive. And the second point, it's just an example of how our front end looks for a destination. That's St. Peter-Ording. And that is on the base of what I showed before. It's a destination one system, we call it. Well, while you're the expert for your data, of course, you really have to use the data. So you are the only one who knows what's in your destination, but you have to shout it into the world, so to say. Okay, so structured data help you to support many, many touch points, as you say, from virtual reality, augmented reality, whatsoever. It comes always from the same source. It helps you on progressive web apps, for instance. So it's the more, how to say, cheaper part to provide an app for a destination with many, many advantages, low cost, but also it creates you a big visibility. Again, the same database is behind this. Up to smart TV solutions in guests' rooms of hotels, still the same base, or smart kiosk solutions, which we have here. And these work also with face recognition. So while you structure the data, you can add attributes to your data and say, this point of interest is for families, and this point of interest is for couples. The smart kiosk solution help you in the regards, the system recognize it's a couple, and this displays only the data that is suitable for this couple. Of course, you can abstract into Alexa skills or chatbots. And as you see, we have to be a little bit fast, but at least this example I like to show you, it's started as a print magazine. It's Colores de España. It's since many, many years on the market in Germany to display Spain. And now it's followed up in a digital way, exactly with the same database. So we use the same system to have something that we call destination travel story. It's an inspiration media. And I think that's almost the last slide I have. You can also use this in the B2B case for e-learnings and travel agent trainings. Still the same database delivered to many, many different touch points like B2B trainings. Or you deliver it into third-party solutions like platforms like OTAs or so on. So that's basically for my part. I hope I had been in time. I thank you for listening. And if you like, just write me an email. It's written there. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Frank. I think it's yeah, for me, it's always nice to see when a panel, when things fit together. And I think already the first two examples show, with Reinhard showing the need for organizing data in these fragmented reality of tourism, and then having Frank with this example of how it's actually done. It's one solution that's there that they have like developed for many, many years. And what I find really impressing for this one is that in the end, it goes really to this touch points. It's not only the website, it's not only Google, but it goes into the rooms in the hotels, and it goes to these kiosks where you can like interact in the destination. So I was really impressed when I heard it the first time, and I'm impressed again. But I think in the end we will have time for some questions and some reflections. But now it's Heini where we go even more in the detail and the realities of one specific small rural destination in Finland. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulf. And hello, everybody. My subject is how to attract visitors to charming villages. It's about the digital journey of the traveler. And like Ulf said, it goes even one step further down to this message really to the local stakeholders in this rural areas and villages. Let me first introduce myself. So I'm 51 years old, CEO from Finland with master's degree in educational sciences, basically. I have run my own businesses for 15 years, and Virtual Guide AR VR is my third company. And basically, I'm an outdoor person who loves kayaking, hiking, animals, and traveling. I live in a small village, the population of 200 inhabitants, and I can say that I'm a village enthusiastic, a developer. Currently, there are 2 projects ongoing. We are in final 4 of Finland's Smartest Village competition, and our Raudama village is also one of the first 5 pilot villages in Europe in Smart Rural 21 project, where we develop village strategies to other villages in Europe to adapt and learn. Also, I have managed the optical fiber to our small village. But the reason why I'm here today is because our company is one of the partners in Charm project that Blanca already introduced previously. And I have always been interested in how customers behave and how to utilize the new technologies to serve them better. But now enough of me, and now to the subject. In well-known places, people come to see things that everybody already knows. You don't need to figure out what are the main attractions. You just go to the same places as the other ones have visited. But what about if you decide to do something different? Why don't you come to the charm village of Matildedal in Finland? Like Nick Hall told this morning, people are currently interested in local places to visit. Matildedal is a pretty amazing village with only 140 residents. There are 40 entrepreneurs, and 20 of these small companies are in tourism business. But how to attract the people to select a place they have never heard of? And that's basically the main issue is how your village will be found from the flood of the information. For this, you need to understand the behavior of the travelers. Basically, you can only use the digital channels to attract them on large scale. In Matildedal, here you can see the situation 3 years ago. So basically, all the tourism companies are founded in last 10 years. So it's very short time what we are looking at. And here you can see that in July 2017, there were basically 20,000 Google searches of them on the highest peak time in July, and half of them were done on mobile phones. But then if we check how was the situation in July this year, there were 9,000 searches done, meaning that there were basically over 3,600 searches every single day, somebody looking for information of this village. And 80% of these searches were now done by mobile phones. So it's really changing the situation. The challenge is not really that the tourists wouldn't like and enjoy their time in rural villages. The question is how to get them to come there. Now we go through the main points, what is needed to find your village, to get travelers to get interested of it, make decision, buy and come, share their experiences and still recommend the place further. When people are looking for inspiration for travel, you must be visible. Like it's really like continuing what Frank already said about the website and the data, what is available. And still, if we look at the small villages, this is still one of the key points, that you really should have a good website, because if you don't have a website, Google can't find you, and if Google can't find you, you basically don't exist. And now it's important to know that this autumn, Google just stops to read any longer the desktop information. So everything needs to be on mobile version. That's the only thing what Google is studying from now on. And it's also important to realize that it's not only the good information what you need to have on your website, but it's also about the other information connected. You really need to show your expertise. What is your authority to talk about the subject? Are you trustworthy? And that's also why you need to have your LinkedIn profile in a good space. It's connected to the website as well. So Google is not only looking at the information what you have on your website, but also related places where you can show your expertise and trusting. And then when your customer looks for inspiration for travel, you need to know what channels they use. If you have a one-person company, you need to select 1 or 2 channels because you are not able to cover all of them. It's better to select one, but then to use it properly and well. Basically, you need to be able digitally to communicate the feeling of your product. I agree with Nick that the authenticity and the value-driven products make the traveler happy in rural destination. It's all about the experiences, not like in the big cities to watch as an outsider, but really to be involved. And that's type of things you want to be able to communicate to your customers. And now we see the part of the video that was produced in our Charm project about the Matilda DAO. Please put the video on.
It's a place where you can be yourself as you are, and you are accepted as you are. In the same time, you can also be part of the whole community and participate to that.
This is the Teijo National Park, and I think it's really beautiful place and beautiful trails and tracks for hiking and to come and to relax and having a picnic or maybe camping, spending a night. I come in the forest for relaxation. I get the feeling that it's some kind of like a warm cloud surrounds me, a cloud of happiness surrounds me when I come to the forest. These are manpower.
Right. I hope this gave you an idea of how the how to do it in a good way to show the feelings and to share it with other people, your possible clients. But then next, the traveler really wants to know what other visitors have thought about the location and products. So it's good to have the pre-planned itineraries with maps, but also important is your TripAdvisor page, because 74% of customers who make reservation on web have checked also the TripAdvisor. So that's one of the key elements as well. But then when the customers have made the decision, she or he starts to look other things to shop. New platforms like Bokun make this cross-selling beneficial, even if it's a cheap products, because the transactions are all automated. And this is also to give the better customer experience when you are able to give them easy way to buy other things what's needed also on that trip. It's important to make the buying as easy as possible. And here you can see that it's not any longer that you need to have and build your own shop on your website, but you can also use the social media channels to not only to inspire your customers, possible customers, but really to get the process to the end that they are even able to buy the products on the social media channel. But then when you get the people to the place, these are the two apps that my company has been developing. The tour guide Fox is really giving the possibility for this hassle-free and enjoyable journey, especially for the small villages where you don't have the people providing the guiding services all year round. Then this type of a solution could be good. Always when you use new technologies, is still the main thing is the storytelling and the content. The technical solutions as they are, it's nothing if you don't have really the interesting content in them. I'm sure you have also taken some guided walks in the towns, and it's really more about the person and the guide himself most probably than the content what he's telling. You really want to be able to fit those things to your schedules. As well now the Charm augmented reality app, which helps you also in the next level, which is the loyalty and the advocacy. So with this AR app, what we are developing, then the customers, when they are, for example, are now in Matildedal, they can already via the app to see and get inspired of the next charming villages. And then it also takes you to the website, our platform of the Charm. And this is basically the whole journey of the possible customer. And I'm excited to start the discussion, and I thank you for this possibility to tell my issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Heini. I think it was really good to see, let's say, how the data actually works, because before we were seeing how the data should be organized, but it's quite an abstract thing to hear about data. And I like to see the video, which actually is nothing else but data, but to see what it is about, and also to hear what you said about the, in the end, you need the story to connect. So it's this aspect of communication and what do I want to tell is always connected with the data that you have and that you use to tell this story. So I think that was also an important point to be made. Now I see the two Catalan guys, they are still sitting on the stage and waiting for their turn. And we start with Pere Perez from Vision and with his intervention. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Bueno, encantado de estar aquí. Nosotros, Vision, somos una empresa de servicios de innovación, trabajando con nuevas tecnologías, contenidos interactivos e inmersivos. Y bueno, hoy lo que os explicaré, nosotros trabajamos muchísimo con clientes, digamos, quizá en el sector de turismo, con grandes marcas, pero sobre todo lo que queríamos explicar hoy son las lecciones que hemos aprendido durante estos 10 años trabajando con estas marcas y cómo lo podemos aplicar a lo que es el turismo sostenible y a la promoción de lo que son los destinos, digamos, más pequeños, con unas limitaciones también económicas mucho mayores. Para nosotros hay dos partes dentro de cómo podemos explorar las nuevas tecnologías para promocionar el turismo sostenible. Está la parte de cómo llevamos a la gente, cómo atraemos al público y después cómo hacemos que ese público pues, tenga una gran experiencia una vez llegue a nuestro destino, ¿no? A la hora de atraer público, una de las cosas que hemos estado trabajando en los últimos 6-7 años es cómo podemos teletransportar a los usuarios desde diferentes puntos, ya sea el punto de venta, ya sea digamos, en conferencias o espacios de turismo o activaciones. Y sí que hemos visto que lo que son las tecnologías inmersivas pues tienen un alto grado de lo que es de conversión, de poder cambiar un poquito ese deseo para poder promocionar uno de estos destinos, ¿no? Pero una de las lecciones que también hemos aprendido con estos clientes o estos proyectos, sobre todo, es la importancia de poder testear, ¿no? Cuando vas a aplicar una nueva tecnología para hacer una campaña de promoción turística, ¿no? Entonces, trabajando con Virgin Holidays en Inglaterra, aquí hicimos un programa de promocionar 2 nuevos destinos de un total de 6 que querían utilizar y hicimos un programa de testeo, de A/B testing, donde implementamos en 50 tiendas o 50 agencias de viaje lo que son la tecnología de realidad virtual para promocionar esos 2 destinos. Y la campaña duró unas 3-4 semanas y estos resultados los comparamos con otras 50 agencias de viaje donde no se había implementado la tecnología, ¿no? Entonces ahí pudimos ver que los resultados es que incrementaron las ventas de esos 2 destinos dentro de los espacios donde habíamos implementado la tecnología y esto lo que le llevó a Virgin Holidays sobre todo es a recondicionar los espacios para que se convirtieran más en centros de experiencia y pudieran caber más inversión en tecnología para conseguir este tipo de resultados. Entonces, este mensaje de poder testear, pero testear con una mente abierta, porque cuando vas a introducir una nueva tecnología no sabes bien digamos, a qué te estás exponiendo, ¿no? Entonces, esto es muy importante que tengamos siempre la mente abierta para exponer estas nuevas posibilidades que nos ofrecen las nuevas tecnologías. También otro de los desafíos que tenemos al utilizar estas tecnologías inmersivas es el desafío de la escalabilidad, ¿no? Venimos de un mundo digital donde publicar un vídeo online es algo que es muy escalable, que a la hora de concentrar una campaña en un tiempo reducido podemos llegar a muchísima gente de forma, digamos, muy cómoda, pero para el turismo sostenible creemos que no es tanto un tema de escalabilidad, de crear un impacto muy grande en un espacio de tiempo, una duración de tiempo muy corta, sino que es un goteo constante, ¿no? Entonces aquí, trabajando con Royal Caribbean, lo que para llegar a las 1000 mayores agencias de viajes en toda España, lo que creamos fueron unos contenidos para promocionar sus nuevos barcos y creamos este tótem que veis aquí en la imagen, que tiene un coste muy limitado, estamos hablando de costes de 5.000 euros. Entonces crearon 4 unidades de este tipo y las estuvieron moviendo durante una semana en cada una de las agencias. Y fue un programa que duró 2 años, pero durante 2 años consiguieron llegar a las 1000 agencias de viaje, ¿no? Entonces creemos que aunque estas nuevas tecnologías o estas tecnologías inmersivas a veces no se les pueda poner la etiqueta de escalables, eso no es un término que esté peleado con el término de volumen y de poder llegar al máximo número de personas, ¿no? Lo que sí que también es importante cuando se va a realizar una inversión de este tipo es digamos, la targetización de dónde ponemos la parte experiencial, cómo nos acercamos a un público que realmente sea el público más sediente o más factible de que pueda ser, digamos, nuestros turistas o nuestros clientes, ¿no? Entonces, trabajando para Turismo de Suiza para promocionar lo que son las rutas de ciclismo y de senderismo, entonces fuimos a grabar en los espacios naturales de estas rutas, y la implementación fue más en espacios, en tiendas de deportes, en sitios donde realmente esta tipología de turista que es más activo, que le gusta digamos, andar, que le gusta ir en bici, en mountain bike, etcétera, pues era donde los podríamos encontrar, ¿no? Y eso pues hace que el retorno de la inversión sea mucho más factible. Vale. Cuando no tenemos esta posibilidad de hacer algo muy targetizado con un nicho de público, lo que tenemos que hacer es crear ese momento wow, ¿no? Es muy importante que tengamos la capacidad de impactar a estos consumidores en un espacio muy reducido de tiempo, ¿no? Entonces, trabajando con Turismo de Cataluña, sobre todo cuando estás en Fitur o estás en el Mobile World Congress, cómo llamas la atención, cómo atraes a la gente a estos destinos, y aquí es donde creamos digamos, también esta cápsula más sensorial para que en muy poco espacio de tiempo, en una experiencia de 2 minutos, podamos crear como un vínculo emocional entre el turista y lo que son estos destinos, ¿no? Entonces es muy importante, creemos que cada pueblo tiene un momento wow, tiene algo que realmente sea memorable, y aquí sí que es muy importante cómo se capta esa imagen, cómo se capta ese momento para poder explotarlo al máximo. ¿Vale? Una vez tenemos digamos, a los visitantes o las razones que les podemos dar, sobre todo, es cómo digitalizamos esta experiencia. Y creo que en las ponencias anteriores realmente ya hemos visto varios ejemplos de cómo digitalizar la experiencia del usuario una vez llegan a su destino. Sobre todo, que es el tema de darle vida, ¿no? a ese destino. Uno de los temas importantes, como también se comentaba anteriormente, ¿no? Cuando vas a Barcelona o vas a una ciudad que ya tiene unos edificios muy icónicos y unas fachadas muy reconocibles, es muy fácil atraer digamos, a los turistas a esos puntos, pero cuando estamos hablando de pueblos mucho más pequeños es mucho más difícil digamos, que la arquitectura resalte, pero siempre hay una historia detrás. Entonces ahí podemos utilizar la realidad aumentada para traerlo esto a vida. Sobre todo también muy importante de encontrar herramientas para poder, digamos, alargar el tiempo que pueden estar en ese destino turístico, especialmente para pueblos pequeños, ¿no? Y en New Street, pues con la recreación del pueblo ibérico en 3D, como parte del museo, lo que haces vas incrementando la duración de los usuarios en ese destino. Y sobre todo gamificar la experiencia. Ya hemos visto varios ejemplos, lo hemos también utilizado en museos, pero lo hemos visto los compañeros anteriores. Incluso también el tema de la movilidad, ¿no? De cómo aprovechar todas estas nuevas interfaces para añadir estas capas de digitalización geolocalizada con contenido de tiempo real, lo que nos da el 5G. Y bueno, y finalmente deciros que la tecnología son las herramientas que tenemos disponibles para crear estos contenidos, pero en el fondo van a ser los contenidos los que realmente harán que esta experiencia sea enriquecedora para los visitantes. Y aquí es donde es clave, que también se ha comentado en anterioridad, pero vale la pena resaltarlo, es de involucrar a la comunidad local para esta creación y difusión de estos contenidos. Y ya está, que si no me paso.
Hello, I was listening to the translation and I think I was the 14 seconds behind. I think that was also like very interesting because it showed like really one quite specific touch point, and not only the B2C touch points that we have covered so far, but also the B2B touch points when we were talking about these examples in the travel agencies. But I think what was in common is that you have like you're very close to a specific target group, and you know you can capture them for, like, say, yeah, I think the example, if I understood it right, was like 2 minutes. And in these 2 minutes, that's your pitch time when you have to convince with all you've got and with a very immersive experience with AR, VR, and if I understood correctly, also some other senses like smelling and stuff. So that you really, that you get to them very intensively, immersively at one specific point of time. And what I also liked a lot is what we said, it's, the technology is there, but what you first have to decide is to capture these moments. So we are back to this storytelling, and I really like this story living example, so that you say it's these 2 minutes we make it as immersive as possible. It is this experience that's not, they are not being told something, but they really experience it. And of course that in the end, it should be fun. So I think it never does any harm if there is fun. And I think the last example we are going to hear now from Alex, it's also about this fun issue and even more about the gamification. So Alex, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Britt. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Alex Bretón. Llevo 12 años trabajando en el sector de la publicidad y actualmente soy el director de tecnología e innovación de Aftershare. Lo que vamos a ver ahora es un proyecto que está muy en la línea con lo que hemos visto por parte de Pera y de los ejemplos de Vision que realizamos bajo el encargo de Turismo de Cataluña hace 2 años. Y se trata de Legends of Catalonia. Legends of Catalonia es el primer videojuego en VR de un destino turístico. Fue pionero en 2018 y lo sigue siendo actualmente, sigue siendo el único destino turístico con su propio juego publicado en las principales tiendas de videojuegos digitales de todo el mundo, que son la tienda, la PS Store de PlayStation y Steam, que es para ordenadores. Y como nosotros en Aftershare creemos mucho en el entretenimiento y en el contenido, lo primero que vamos a ver es un vídeo que explica claramente cómo fue el desarrollo del proyecto, los agentes involucrados y un poco la repercusión que tuvo, aunque algún dato lo actualizaremos porque no seguimos teniendo muchas descargas a día de hoy. Con lo cual, si sois tan amables de poner el vídeo, por favor.
Catalonia. We are Spain's biggest tourist destination. And we have found a booming market, USA. Our challenge was to enter this market so saturated with advertising in an innovative way and reach a younger target. And that's how we started Legends of Catalonia.
Welcome, Voyager. So let me welcome you to Catalonia.
A pioneering entertainment format worldwide designed to attract tourists from USA through a virtual reality video game. With Legends, we transported players to a magical world that, upon passing the last screen, they discovered that it exists in real life. The video game was created with one of the most innovative techniques in the programming, photogrammetry, and it was starred by 3 Catalan legends, Carles Puyol, the Roca Brothers, and Edurne Passaban. The campaign was launched in November of 2018, and more than 100,000 people downloaded the game, a record in VR industry. Also, we launched several actions to bring Catalonia to those Americans who don't have PlayStation. And the most important thing, currently, visits to the Turismo de Catalunya website from USA have been multiplied by 20.
Bueno, pues básicamente en el vídeo hemos visto un poco el porqué del proyecto. El reto era conseguir atraer el público americano, ya que era uno de los principales mercados para el destino turístico aquí en Cataluña. Y como os he dicho, y viendo que vamos mal de tiempo, voy a pasar rápidamente porque lo hemos visto todo en el vídeo. Fue la primera campaña que usó esta tecnología para promocionar un destino turístico. De una manera totalmente inmersiva, gracias a la tecnología que usamos hiperrealista de capturar las localizaciones y emplazamientos donde el videojuego transcurría, y que llevaba a Cataluña que el turista no solo interactuara con una web, con una serie de datos, recomendaciones, vídeos al uso, sino que viviera en primera persona todos estos destinos y toda la fantasía que hay inmersa, porque para el desarrollo del videojuego fuimos muy detallistas y intentamos captar el máximo de folclore y la historia catalana, por ejemplo, en el escenario de Cadaqués, las referencias que tenemos a artistas y la propia fauna, por ejemplo, los peces que había en el mar forman parte del folclore, o sea que es muy completo a nivel cultural, y donde podías vivir experiencias en primera persona con la ayuda de estas celebrities que hemos visto, como Carles Puyol, ex capitán del Fútbol Club Barcelona y unos deportistas más carismáticos, los hermanos Roca, que son reconocidos mundialmente por el Salle de Can Roca y por su innovación en la cocina, y con Edurne Passavant, que es una de las alpinistas más reconocidas del mundo al haber hecho todos los 8000. Y lo que hablábamos, y estar en emplazamientos por todo Cataluña, como pueden ser Cadaqués, la Sagrada Familia, Tarragona, etc. Y con estos protagonistas. El guión del juego, y hablábamos antes, Pera, y en general es muy importante el storytelling y el entretenimiento. Cogíamos la leyenda de Sant Jordi y la adaptábamos, en la cual tú tenías que, a través de desbloquear estas rutas, ayudado por estas celebrities, desbloquear el diario y conseguir los 3 tokens para completar el videojuego y descubrir un vídeo en el que, ya viendo los escenarios reales que has visto, descubrir que todo esto está en Cataluña. A nivel de éxito, voy a ir al grano. A nivel de repercusión, en el vídeo veíamos 130.000 descargas y eso fue en el momento de hacer el vídeo. Actualmente estamos, incluso este dato está desactualizado, las 450.000 descargas a nivel mundial. Para que os hagáis una idea, hay 5 millones de dispositivos de realidad virtual de Sony, con lo cual estamos hablando que 1 de cada 10 personas en el mundo que tiene la realidad virtual de la PlayStation se ha descargado el Legends of Catalonia. A nivel de medios no pagados, visitas, impresiones, fue una campaña que funcionó a las mil maravillas. Ha sido reconocida con multitud de premios, el último hace un mes en los Japan Tourism Awards, que recibimos 2 premios más, con lo cual después de 2 años de su lanzamiento sigue cosechando y sorprendiendo al público internacionalmente. Y lo más importante, ¿no? ¿Por qué se consiguió que funcionara de esta manera el proyecto? Yo lo he resumido en 5 y un sexto punto. Por la innovación, porque detectamos que el VR era un formato que va a ser sí o sí el futuro, ya está siendo el presente y va a migrar no solo del consumo y los videojuegos, sino también al sector servicios, hospitales, tecnología e ingeniería. Y detectamos una tendencia que para un mercado que es el americano, que era el más maduro en ese momento con esta tecnología, tenía todo el sentido. Porque el contenido, porque buscábamos ese balance entre entretenimiento y dar a conocer la cultura y el folclore de Cataluña. Por los partners que elegimos en ese momento a nivel de la distribución, que Sony se portó muy bien con todos y le dio bastante difusión y apoyo, y por su red de distribución para maximizar el alcance a nivel mundial. Porque no solo fuimos a la gente que tenía dispositivo VR porque hubiera sido discriminar mucho el target, sino en la campaña pues también teníamos una aplicación de AR que os podéis descargar, que abre un portal, abres portales a cada uno de los destinos del juego allá donde estés, porque había también medios en digital, en prensa y demás. Y porque aprovechando el impacto de Juego de Tronos teníamos un dragón, con lo cual nos hacía estar en el centro de la conversación. Y muchas gracias.
the last point very much. It has a dragon. So we put a dragon everywhere, and we will make it a success. No, but thank you, Alex. I think it is another great example, a very concrete one with a very targeted audience, a very concrete idea from the start, but also what you said, all these elements of and also this, let's say, daring, and probably also a lot of budget and funding by the Catalan Tourist Board to go this very innovative way of using this game to get into this market and to attract a new segment. So thank you very much. As we are running in time, actually you were all very, very good with your timing, I must say. So thank you very much for that. But because the others before of us took longer than they should have taken, we only have 10 minutes left for discussion. I have a couple of no, not a couple of questions, but I have one or the same questions for all of you, and I would like to go in the same direction as we did the presentations. And my one or two questions are, can you give like a suggestion to rural villages, rural destinations, where we heard also this morning from Nick about the challenges of limited money resources and also limited human resources. How can they make the most out of the possibilities that we have with the technologies that are out there, and that probably we'll keep developing in the next years? And maybe also, if you want to react to one of the others or several of the other speakers, please also feel free. But all of you, everybody has, let's say, like 1.5 to 2 minutes. And Reinhard, you are allowed to start again.
Okay, thanks. I think the presentations were really, really great. I took many, many notes. Thank you for that. What to suggest, rural areas, I think there is one thing we can do that means cooperate. The digital world connects what is separated in the real world. So we should come together. We should see a destination as a kind of a platform, and we should cooperate across industries. The big question we should always ask when we meet somebody: what can we create together to serve the locals, but also to serve the visitors? And most of the time, or often, we start arguing about things. We should stop arguing if there are certain topics we cannot agree upon a shared opinion, and start discussing a new topic, as long as it takes to find some points where we can work together.
That was very straight to the point, and I like that very much. I will do a wrap up in the end with what all of you said. So now it's Frank.
I think I just come back to what the presentation said. So by the way, you see that in the digital world, everything is connected with everything. The only thing we have to take care is that this connection is possible. That brings me directly back to our approach. That means open data. Everybody has to facilitate his data in a format that is readable by all other suppliers. That means from tour operators to OTAs to whatever you think of. And the foundation of everything is a structured database. And as far as I know, there are some products on the market that are not so expensive if you use only the database. I think ours is one of these, but there are many others. And this enables you to facilitate exactly that, what is needed in the market, that your data is readable. That go away, maybe that's my advice, go away and wow, we reached out finally to have our own website, and yeah, it's mobile, great. Yes, it's okay, but the foundation of it should be open data. That is essential, and that is the best invention, best investment that you could do long before you start with marketing and everything else. And it's only a once in a lifetime, so to say, investment. So after that, you definitely will solve a lot of administration costs and marketing costs.
Thank you, Frank. Now it's Heini.
Okay, right. 2 points. Test with real customers before doing any coding. So please test your idea first, if it's something that the customers are really interested in. And if you have a very limited budget, as the villages and the small stakeholders normally have, it's better to use the platforms which are already there. So build something on, is it then top of the Facebook or using the Google? Because if you start to develop it from the scratch, it's going to be pretty costly, and you don't know how long it's still working. So it's better to use the platforms which are widely used, and there is somebody else who is paying to keep it updated, the system itself.
Thank you, Heini. And you're all doing excellent in timing again. So now it's Pere. I can't see you, but I hope I will. But more important is that everybody else can hear you.
Okay, so what I would say is that don't be afraid of technology, embrace it. I think that no one got to use a mobile phone the first time right, or they didn't know how to use the computer the first time. And then in regards to involving the community, is like ask the young people, the new generations, in the same way that when you don't know how to use a piece of technology, you tend to ask your kids to help you. It's the same when you don't know how to create exciting content or how to create or to demonstrate your town or your destination with a creative use of technology. As the digitally native people, you have them in your town, you have them in your neighboring town. They're involved already as part of the community with the community clubs, whether it's cultural, heritage, sports, doesn't really matter, and be authentic about the content that you create.
Now it's Alex with the last words from the panel. Thank you.
Two main things, identify trends, and creativity. Identifying trends is very, very important because you don't want people to do things that they are not doing right now. So maybe TikTok is a trend, use it. VR is a trend, use it. People is running more than ever, doing trail running also, use it. How? Through a great idea. You can create the biggest escape room on your town, or the outdoor escape room. You can create the hardest marathon through your mountains. You can do a lot of things using technology or without using technology. But trend plus an idea, it's the optimal way to promote a destination.
Thank you very much. I try to wrap this up now in 1.5 minutes. I think it was all great. And for me, what's really important, because I'm not a tech person, and I'm also not the first one to embrace it usually. But what I like also talking with you, much more tech-minded people than me, is that you don't focus on the technology alone, but that we hear a lot on the human touch of it as well. So that we need these great ideas that come from people, that we need people cooperating together, that we need content, authenticity, that we need products as a basis. And actually, when we call this all this, that's then there. That's in the end is all data. And this is something we have to like when we look at Frank's example, which we need to structure better, because otherwise, as Reinhard said at the beginning, we will have it in silos. We will have something there, but some can use it, but others not. So the better we work together from the start, with which I think is a mindset, and which is not always in tourism the case, that people, I would not say especially in the countryside, but everywhere. We have in Germany a saying, it's called Kirchturmdenken, which is church tower thinking. So you're only thinking about your own backyard. And I think we have seen again and again, but I think you cannot tell this, yes, you cannot tell this enough, is that we need to cooperate, and that in the end it doesn't matter if you agree, as long as you respect yourself and as long as you have the plan to work together and make something happen. And then comes the creativity and the technology and the linking part of the technology is there to help and should, like, so much as possible through technology. But I think it's the people who have to start with using it and solving some interpersonal issues sometimes first before using the technologies. But once you are there, and this is what I liked with Pere's last intervention, is these, don't be afraid. And what I also liked, and this is also a question we had this morning towards Nick, is what's with the young generation. And that maybe, I mean, now we are all sitting here, middle-aged men and one woman at least, that I think this is also true, especially in this technology, because there also, when I see my son, they are much more into technology. They are not afraid, but they are also using it differently than I do. And I think this is important to also have, like, don't lose the touch there, and also maybe really learn something from the young and not being like the old guys who know it all. So for me, this has been very interesting. I think there was, like, really a very, for me at least, a big red line connecting all the interventions that we had. As always, there was too little time to discuss. But from my side, it's it has been very interesting and a big success. A shame that we couldn't do this together in Barcelona, but I hope for the next time when we meet in person. And I don't know, give back now to the moderator if there is any question from the audience that you want to take, or if we just move on with the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I hope you're still listening, Ulf, and you're a great timekeeper. It's great to choose always a German or German speaker, because they always, make it very sharp. Thank you so much again to all of you for participating, also to the speakers who were in Finland and Austria and in Germany. Creo que hasta el momento hemos ido bastante bien de tiempo, solo vamos un 15 minutos de retraso. Así que creo que, había algún momento para si alguien tenía alguna pregunta, pero creo que el hambre empieza ya a apretar. Quería realmente agradeceros, llegamos al final de esta sesión matinal. El congreso no ha acabado todavía, nos queda un cartel de lujo esta tarde, así que aquellos que todavía puedan conectarse, la tarde será en streaming a partir de las 4:30, lo recuerdo. Así que yo también estaré esta tarde conectado para seguir con los elevator speeches, y también tenemos, no olvidéis, nuestro orador principal, el keynote speaker, Jonathan Turtelot, from National Geographic, que también nos va a hablar de un tema muy interesante sobre Destination Stewardship Center, con la ponencia Our Chance to Rethink Tourism, Regenerative and Beyond. Entonces, como os comentaba, desalojaremos la sala, como hemos hecho hoy para el café. Nos volvemos a ver a las 4:30, en el que tendremos la posibilidad de escuchar a Pere Granados, por ejemplo, alcalde de Salou y presidente del Patronato de Turismo, a Rafael de Villasante, de Iternatura, Xavi Socias, Neápolis, MedGames, Gemma Prenafeta, de Sharify, Aushi Piñero, de Van Wow, y también tendremos un vídeo de un ponente que no ha podido venir, que viene de Japón, Ki Shibata, que también emitiremos por la tarde. Ha sido realmente un placer. También un último recordatorio. Dentro de 5 minutos va a haber lo que comentaba Blanca, va a haber esta sesión para aquellos que quieran saber un poco más sobre el proyecto Charm, con lo cual aquellos que previamente se hayan registrado, ¿sí?, se podrán conectar para seguir esta sesión, que va a empezar 5 minutos cuando desalojemos la sala. Y realmente creo que todo lo que son eventos híbridos son posibles, Creo que lo hemos conseguido, no hemos tenido tantos problemas técnicos, pese a bueno, alguno que otro, pero creo que eso no nos tiene que realmente inmovilizar para seguir haciendo este tipo de eventos, para el disfrute de todos, para conocer más, para intercambiar opiniones, hacer networking, y porque creo que ni esta pandemia ni la que viene nos va a poder parar. Muchas gracias y que tengáis buena tarde. Gracias.